Hi everyone, welcome to the Patient Wallet channel. Today I am going to be talking about my most recent addition and what I consider my purish robotics play. The company is called Ouster, ticker symbol OUST. I currently own 75 shares and I'm hoping to add more, but the stock price has jumped significantly since I started buying the stock. And before we get into the exciting stuff of the company, I want to heavily caveat that this is a high risk company. It's unprofitable, has a relatively smaller market cap compared to my other investments, but it operates in a sector that I strongly believe will have a massive tailwind for the decades to come, which is robotics. So make sure you do your own research, and when you invest in this company, expect high volatility. So let's jump into Ouster, and keep in mind this is going to be a high-level introduction of the company, and as I learn more about this company, I'll be sharing it here on this channel, so make sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments below what other companies you are looking into when it comes to robotics. So what's Ouster? Essentially, they want to become the sensing and perception for physical AI, and currently offer various products and softwares. Their main product is the digital LiDAR, cameras and AI compute. They offer physical AI solutions and autonomy across industries. This company essentially touches on industries such as industrial automation, robotics, automotive, and smart infrastructure. So the company thinks of themselves and operates under the model of sense, think, act, and learn. And they want to become the single source and the leaders when it comes to sensing and perception. On the sense side of things, they offer digital LiDAR, and I'll talk a little bit about this product later on in the video, and cameras. Following the acquisition there of Stereolab, they increased and strengthened their product line. On the think side of things, they offer perception software and AI compute. On the act, they offer applications, for example, to monitor traffic. And on learn, they offer AI training and models. On the hardware, digital LiDAR was and still is their main product. On cameras, this is followed by the acquisition of Stereolabs, and on the AI compute, this is powered by the NVIDIA and Jetson Orin, which facilitates native real-time sensor fusion. All of this, by the way, is on their investor relation website, so you can go and read in more detail what they have to offer. On the physical AI solutions, they have cutting-edge AI models. These are proprietary AI models which leverage real-world data to iterate, retrain, improve, and deliver value to customers. The Ouster Gemini is one of their main offerings, which is a perception platform for security, crowd analytics, logistics, and ITS. It basically tracks and detects people and objects. And Ouster Blue City, which I believe runs on Gemini, is essentially a real-time traffic management solution offered by Ouster. Now, at the high level, using their LiDARs, cameras, compute, and softwares offer solutions that enable robotics to have vision and process information on live environments. Why am I bullish on this company? And there are three key reasons. Firstly, we are talking about robotics. I genuinely think this is the next multi-trillion-dollar industry, and Ouster, in my opinion, is well positioned to capture a niche in this up and coming industry, and will have a massive tailwind for decades to come. The niche comes from the fact that they offer LiDAR and cameras, which I think are very advanced, and they have showcased that they already are able to deliver, ship products, and partner with high value clients in the space. Also, it's important to understand that the products they offer don't just simply focus on one single industry, which I personally like. It's diversified across many. It includes robotics, so think about last mile delivery robots, drones, including mapping drones, inspection, military, and defense drones, etc. On the industrial side of things, there is warehouse automation, and is something that some of the big players, including Amazon, are already doing, but I do see warehouse automation to continue to expand over the coming years with the use of robotics. It also includes off-road vehicles for mining, construction, and agriculture, and many more applications. The smart infrastructure is essentially tracking and monitoring people, cars, etc., and includes perimeter security, crowd analytics, logistics, intelligent transportation systems, and urban planning. And on the automotive side, they are capitalizing on regulation and, of course, as we know, autonomous vehicles, including cars, robotaxis, and robot tracking. So Ouster is exceptionally well positioned to benefit from this new industry, which is robotics, and it's well diversified in the sense of it's not focused only on one industry within robotics. It has a few industries, which I think is a good thing for investors. The second reason why I'm bullish is because of their recent product that they came out with, which is the first native color LiDAR. To date, LiDAR didn't have color. Well, Ouster came out with a product that incorporates color into LiDAR, and it's very important in my opinion, as it brings in new kind of data that a lot of companies can use to interpret what is happening around their robots. A very simple example is essentially understanding if a car in front of you is braking or not. If it's braking, you'll pick up the red light, whereas previously LiDAR wouldn't have picked that because it didn't have any color in it. The second reason why I'm super excited about this product is what's in the product when it comes to functional safety and the play that Ouster is making here. Let me just quickly touch on what these things mean. Auto grade essentially means that REV8, their new LiDAR product, meets a set of hardware standards that allow a sensor to be integrated directly into a vehicle's primary safety and driving systems. In other words, it's about meeting semiconductor and safety certifications required by major car manufacturers. It means this LiDAR can be used to simply purchase and install on your cars because it's auto grade. Let's touch on a few of the ISO and other grading here. ASIL-B to ISO 26262 is essentially the international standard for functional safety in road vehicles, which is essentially a certification that doesn't only look at the final product, but also at the entire process of how Ouster designed their sensors. The goal here is essentially to remove any unreasonable risks from the systems of this product. And what ASIL-B means for Ouster's LiDAR is basically dealing with redundancy, fault detection, and safe state. The chip performs self-tests all the time to make sure it's properly functioning. If a pixel or processing unit fails, the chip detects the error internally, and basically, instead of sending wrong data to the systems, the sensor tells the central system that is not functioning correctly, so do not trust my data, switch to the backup sensors, which means you have this safety embedded into the systems. Next up, let's move to the IEC 6158, which is basically the equivalent safety standard that we talked about the ISO, but we are now talking about industrial, machinery, and factories. So the sensor talks the language of the cars, but also the machineries, which is again a reason why they can capture the additional markets out there. And IEC 6158 is a global umbrella standard for functional safety in any electrical or electronic system. It basically means if the robot or that system fails, it won't kill someone, in other words, and it's used in many places, including mining, factory robotics, even oil and gas applications. What SIL2 means, it's the safety integrity level 2, and there are 4 levels, but SIL2 means the sensor is reliable enough that the probability of a dangerous failure on demand is extremely low. And as an example, if we, let's say, have this product on a forklift and it's about to hit a person, the sensor is legally trusted to trigger the emergency stop without a human needing to watch it. So that's how important this certification is. And lastly, let's look at ISO 13849, which is essentially a certification that looks bottom up on how that component acts as part of a control system. This is the safety standard for the safety related parts of control systems, and is basically the language that mechanical engineers talk and go about how to build things like robotic arms, automated forklifts, and heavy construction equipment. The grading goes from PLA, which is the lowest, to PLE, which is the highest, and then D rating, so the PLD, means that the sensor is rated as high reliability. It's just one step below the highest grade, which is basically reserved for extreme life critical system like nuclear reactor shuts off. So pretty good gradings, and if you want to basically remove safety and let humans walk near these robots, the sensors must be PLD rated. And what are the applications of this certification? If you are PLD rated, the sensor can be the primary safety device on the product. For example, Amazon and Caterpillar can use this sensor and legally certify that their robot will not hit a person. So their new product incorporates color and at the same time has all of these certifications, which in my opinion are extremely important because their previous product did not have it. And for robotics to scale and for companies to like the product, I think you need to have all of these certifications and make sure that the product you are using is safe. And for the gradings of ASIL-B, SIL2 and PLD, Ouster management is essentially touching automotive, industrials, and machine robotics all at once. And if you're wondering, well, it's all nice to hear all of this. REV8 was designed in close collaboration with a lot of technology partners per management, and some of Ouster's customers this day includes Volvo, Google, and Amazon, and many others, but they showed that they have products that big robotic players want. This new product incorporating color and the safety features, I think will unlock much higher orders and will accelerate the revenue for the company. And lastly, the other reason why I like Ouster today is the regulatory element of it. And let me touch on a few of them. Let's start with the Blue UAS, which is a certification or a list that Ouster is cleared to be on and was given the green light from the US Department of Defense. It's basically a vetting process that certifies technology as secure, non-compromised, for example, free of Chinese-made components in critical areas, and safe for use by the US military and federal agencies. It's basically a regulation which effectively banned federal use of drones and components from high-risk foreign adversaries for the US, which means not that Ouster is cleared and is on this list and other competitors are not on the list. They are able to offer their services and be the choice for some of these agencies. To get on the list, Ouster had to prove their hardware and software had no backdoors and that their supply chain is transparent to be checked and be allowed to get on this list. And it also certifies that Ouster's digital LiDAR is made in America and meets the strict security standards required by the Department of Defense. In other words, because you are a safe product and you meet certain requirements, then the Department of Defense and federal agencies can now use your products, which basically means some of the competition not on the list is pushed back and Ouster expects to benefit from it. The second regulation is the European Union General Safety Regulation, GSR, which will come in effect in July 2026. Basically, the mandate is all new vehicles registered in the EU after July 2026 must include advanced safety features, including advanced driver distraction warning and enhanced vulnerable road user detection. The recent acquisition that Ouster made of Stereolabs and the introduction of native color in the new product, the LiDAR product, is specifically timed for this regulation. LiDAR is becoming the preferred way to meet the nighttime and the low visibility requirements of the regulation that traditional cameras struggle to fulfill. So Ouster essentially positioning themselves to not face any issues with this regulation. And when it comes to the conversations around LiDAR or cameras, now Ouster has both and at the same time can deal with the regulation that says you need to be able to stop the car even at nighttime and the low visibility. In my opinion, if you want to be safe, you need to have both cameras and LiDAR, and now Ouster offers both. Lastly, the final regulation is the NHTSA Automatic Emergency Braking Mandate. This regulation was recently finalized in the US, and you are required to have an automatic emergency braking on all vehicles, the light vehicles as they are called. Whilst the full compliance deadline is in September 2029, so some time away, then design freeze for the vehicles that will meet this requirement is happening now, so 2026 and 2027. This new standard essentially requires vehicles to stop for pedestrians even at night. Again, we come back to this argument, do you have cameras or LiDAR? And I think if you want to be extremely safe, LiDAR makes a lot of sense here as well. A lot of industry experts agree that meeting these higher speed, low light mandates is nearly impossible with radar and cameras alone, so it creates a massive regulatory benefit for Ouster because of the digital LiDAR. So that's why I'm bullish. Ouster is in this massive industry of robotics and they will have a tailwind behind them for the next 10 years. The new product they came out with is exceptional and much better than the earlier version they had, as it incorporates color and safety features. And thirdly, there is a lot of regulation that I think will benefit Ouster and LiDAR over the short to medium term. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I consider this company to be risky, but let's look at their fundamentals. We can see that their revenue has been climbing steadily and nicely over the last few years, with the most recent quarter increasing revenues by 48.9% year on year. The spike in revenue in 2025 is essentially one of revenue that we won't see again as per management, so ignore the spike here. The trend is pretty clear and revenues are continuing to grow nicely up and to the right. When you look at the gross profit margins, the company has gross profit margins of around 43% and has been growing nicely. As well, management did state that REV8, their new product, is designed for scale and cost effectiveness, so hopefully the gross profit margins remain intact. However, keep in mind the company is not profitable and is one of the reasons I consider them to be high risk. I'll touch a little bit of when management thinks they will become profitable, but before I do so, one positive thing is that the company has no debt and has cash on balance sheet, which I think they need at this point in time, given they are burning cash. As we can see, their free cash flow, excluding stock-based compensation, is again moving towards the right direction over time. A key point I think worth mentioning, during the latest earnings call, management reiterated their path to profitability is on track, and surprisingly for me, they mentioned that they will be profitable in 2027. A question came in which basically asked, as we think about the gross margins and the EBITDA improving, and as we go through the financials, what's the most important remaining steps to hit break even? Is it the revenue scale? Is it gross margins, OPEX, or is it a mix of things to improve the EBITDA? And management's response was, they expect to continue their revenues by 30 to 50% going forward. They expect to maintain the high gross margins close to 40% and grow their OPEX by 5 to 8%. And when combining all of this, they are on a strong path and expect to be profitable in 2027, not far away at all. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on to see if indeed they become profitable or not. The 3-year return of the company is 509% and the 1-year return is 213.8%, so a pretty good run for the company. The market cap is pretty small relative to the other companies that I have in my portfolio, sitting at $2.3 billion with an enterprise value of $2.1 billion, accounting for the excess cash they have on their balance sheet. As we talked about, their P multiple is negative. They had a 3-year CAGR growth of 31%, a 5-year CAGR growth of 41%. Keep in mind, this is a dilutive machine, so they are diluting shareholders by issuing new shares as they are yet to become profitable, but I expect the pace of dilution to at least come down over time. But regardless, these are facts that I don't generally like when it comes to established companies, but I'm making an exception here to make an investment which is small in size in a company that has the characteristics that I mentioned earlier in the video. So that's Ouster. Please do your own research. And I personally am hoping to add some additional shares in the company, assuming the company doesn't run away from me. And lastly, as always and as promised, I'm pretty transparent with my portfolio. The value is £41,300. The return is 6.6%. And as you can see, the major change is adding Ouster to the portfolio, taking the total number of companies invested in to 9. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.